Howie, right back at ya. Alright, so we're moving right along, huh? Remember last time we talked about healthcare, the ins and outs? Oh yeah, it was amazing. And actually, it's good to know. Okay, we also talked about safety in all areas. So if you have crazy hair like that, make sure you're protecting your hair and a huge helmet like that to protect more than your head or something like that. Okay, so hopefully you remember that stuff. Put it to good use. Today we're going to talk about, let's start with relationships, because we all know that we have relationships with everybody, whether that's your siblings, your family, your boyfriends and girlfriends, your teachers, your counselors, you name it. There are relationships of all types, okay? So I want you to think about the relationships you have right now. Obviously, I don't need any details. No, but really, I want you to think about some of those relationships. Some of them are really close relationships. Some of them might be more acquaintances. But think about them, okay? Because it comes into play when we talk about something really important, okay? But the other thing I want you to think about is, do you think you're nurturing those relationships or causing rifts? If you know what nurturing is, that means are you helping it grow? So maybe you're in a relationship, with a boyfriend or girlfriend. Maybe you're not helping that relationship grow, and instead you're causing a rift. Or maybe with a family member, okay? Are you nurturing your relationships? Okay, because that's a big thing to ask yourself. And I want you to examine those relationships, because what really helps to nurture those relationships is something we're going to talk about today: communication, okay? Communication to me, and I speak from, because I've been married 8 years as of last week, and communication is key in relationships. It doesn't mean just a marriage relationship or boyfriend, girlfriend. I'm talking with your family, with your kids, with whoever. Communication is always where a relationship will break down or build up, okay? So this is a life skill that I feel is probably the most important when dealing with others. And how often are you going to deal with others? Well, how about just about every minute of your life? If you're at work and you have a job, you're dealing with others. If you have a family, you're dealing with others. So communication is going to come into your day about all the time, okay? So I want you to think of some reasons why communication is so important, okay? I know you're thinking of some. I'm going to just pause for a moment. Think of why communication is so important. Okay, so obviously we like to talk. You know, I like to talk. And I need to get something out. I need to tell somebody something. I need to inform somebody of something. So communication is so important because we always have something to share, to tell, to inform, keep people safe. There's many reasons why we communicate. So it is important. So I want you to watch this video, and good communication is what we're focusing on. So there's all sorts of communication, but how about good communication? How clear are you being? So this is a joke. I mean, this is a funny prank that I'm going to show you, and it makes me laugh, but it also shows some key things about communication. Okay, so watch this, and hopefully you laugh as much as I do, because I think it's pretty funny and pretty random.
Yes, butt plugs?
Huh?
Butt plugs.
Spark plug test. How can I help you?
Butt plugs?
What is it?
Butt plugs.
A what box?
Butt plugs.
A butt box?
Butt plugs.
I'm not following what you're saying.
Butt plugs.
I have a bad connection. I don't understand. What is it?
Butt plugs.
Butt box? Is it like a receptacle you're talking about?
Butt plugs. Yeah.
What kind of plug is it? A spark plug you're talking about?
Butt plugs.
Oh, hold on. Hello. What are you looking for?
Butt plug.
Spark plug. What kind?
Butt plug.
What kind of a spark plug?
No, butt plug.
I just don't understand you, sir. I'm sorry.
Butt plug.
A spark plug.
Butt plug.
Butt plug?
Butt plug.
Never heard of it. What do you use it for?
Butt plug.
Huh?
Butt plug.
What do you use it for, sir?
Butt plug. Butt plug. Butt plug. Butt plug.
Yeah. Butt lug?
Butt plug.
I know, but what do you use it on? What do you use it in? I'm trying to
Butt plug. Butt plug.
Yeah, okay, I got your spark plug. There's all kinds of spark plugs.
Butt plug. Butt plug. Butt plug.
don't carry that.
Butt plug?
Yeah, we don't carry it.
Thank you.
All right.
Okay, so I laugh because the guy is saying 2 words, butt plug. Butt plug. Okay, so he might be communicating pretty clearly, but the other guy, on the other hand, can't seem to get it. Okay, so just that you guys need to understand that you might think you're being clear, but the other person doesn't. So yeah, call a hardware store, see if you can find a butt plug. So verbal and nonverbal, because there are different types of communication. Obviously, we know that there's the verbal communication where we speak to somebody, but there's also your nonverbal communication, your facial expressions. You know, if someone's like, you might not want to approach them with something that might be a hard, difficult subject to talk about because they might not be ready for it. So key in on those nonverbal communication things, okay? So just know that there's both of those types. When you're talking about and doing your communication improvement plan, think about not only verbal, but nonverbal as well. Eye contact is a big thing for nonverbal. If someone is talking to you and you're like, that would probably really make me mad because I think, are you really listening? And that's a part of communication, listening. So eye contact is a huge thing. All right, and then communication has style. So you have to understand that there is different styles. Some are better than others. Some are not really good at all, okay? How about a passive style? A passive is where you're kind of this guy and you're like, okay, yeah, and you're not really being able to share your opinions or your thoughts because you're kind of passive and you're just letting people talk at you. This could also be known as aggressive, as well as something like bullying, okay? Aggressive communicating, where you're trying to get your point across with being aggressive, and there's no need for that, okay? So I don't consider passive or aggressive great communicating styles. But on the other hand, you have something called assertive. If you read this definition, it says assertive is being direct, honest, and respectful while interacting with others. Those are things that you want to really work on when you're communicating. Being direct, you don't have to be aggressive, but you can be direct. You need to be honest, you need to be courteous, but also respectful, okay? So those are the big things that you really need to work on when it comes to communicating, is being assertive in your communication, okay? How to speak effectively. You want your volume at a good volume where you're not like, hi, my name is Mrs. Howie, because then you're going to be like, I can't hear you, okay? So make sure you're speaking nice and clear and loud. Inflection. If I were to talk like this the whole time, you probably would never click on my YouTube videos and you would hate me as a teacher. So use some inflection in your voice. Try to be a little exciting when you're talking, okay? You don't have to be all goofy like me. That depends on your personality. But use some inflection where your voice is kind of different in different keys, different tones, you know, all that good stuff. A big thing is using an I statement instead of you when you're trying to communicate with somebody about a problem. An I statement is something where you're not saying, I don't like when you do this. Okay, just because you started off with I doesn't mean that's an I statement. I don't like when this is done to me because I feel blah, 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 blah. Okay, you can be telling somebody that. But if you start by saying, I don't like when you do that, or I don't like when you blah, 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 then you're instantly putting that person on the defense. Don't use you, okay? An I statement is something that you're really focusing in on yourself. I feel this way because it does this to me. Not you do this to me, but when it's spoken like that, when someone speaks to me like that, then it hurts me, okay? Don't use you. Believe it or not, that really helps, okay? I use that with my husband, it works. And empathy. Empathizing is not only just trying to sympathize and say, oh, I'm sorry that happened, but empathizing is really putting yourself in those shoes and really feeling what that person is feeling. Sometimes it's hard to do that, but empathizing is much better than sympathizing. Nobody really wants sympathy, or some people do, but empathizing is much better. Empathy is what people want. Really put yourself in my shoes, and then you'll know how I feel. Okay, so that's a great way to speak effectively. All right, how to listen effectively, because listening is huge when you communicate. If you're not a good listener, that's something you need to improve on, okay? Active listening means eye contact. You don't have to be like, yeah, okay, That's not necessarily what I'm referring to. I'm referring to just eye contact and kind of, pretend like you're engaged, okay? Now, I don't really want you to pretend, but, if someone's speaking to you and telling you something, it's okay to nod your head once in a while and, give a smile if they're telling you a story, but most importantly is eye contact, okay? All right, body language. If someone's talking and you're like this, I would probably get up and walk away, okay? That is the rudest thing you could ever do, okay? Your body language, when you're all closed up and your arms are crossed like that, you don't want to be approached, and no one wants to approach you, okay? That's not a way to communicate, or it's not a way to listen, okay? So, this is truly probably the most important part about communication is listening. So if you know you're not a good listener and your mom's talking to you and you're off doing your own thing or you have your headphones on, think about being respectful and think about, would you like somebody to be listening to headphones while you're trying to talk to them? Okay? So I say that because I was in your shoes at one point. I remember being disrespectful in the whole listening area when it came to my parents and sometimes my friends and my siblings. Okay? So take those headphones off for a couple minutes and look at people when they're talking to you. Okay? So now what? Practice makes perfect. How will you put this into practice? All right, so I've got one last video to show you. It's from one of my favorite movies, Hitch, and it's some good listening and communication skills. So watch this.
Is saying and respond. Yes, hi. What's up?
Listen, Albert, right? People don't usually talk to me like that, okay? Let me rephrase that. People never talk to me like that.
Stand up.
I guess it's kind of scary for them, but that's why I really appreciate what you did in there. But I was wondering, do you think that you and I could get together sometime this week? To go over things, financial things. You see, I'd like to see the areas where I can afford to take some risks.
Just gotta check my schedule. That's cool.
Great. Let me give you my number. Do you have a pen? I don't think I have one.
Yes.
Great. Owen, call me Allegra.
You're done. Good job.
Okay, so great movie. Good old, Will Smith's trying to teach good old Alfred how to communicate and basically win the heart of a girl. But communication is key. All right, so that's it for communication. Please, please put this into practice. When you guys go to do your writing assignment and you're looking on how to improve your communication, take these things to heart and put them to practice. All right.